Hare Krishna. Welcome to the live studios here in Radha Lane, right next to Sri Sri Radha near the Madhava Temple. ISKCON, Houston, Texas. And we really have a room full today. Dr. Manjari is here. Liz is here from Tobago. Trinidad, Tobago. Robert Black Jaren is here. Shobha's here. Nice. All right. Working our way through the Bhagavad-gita as it is. We heard, just as we finished yesterday, we heard how Arjuna, after hearing the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge, and then before seed verses of the Bhagavad-gita, surrendered to Krishna. Full stop. No conditions. But he still has some questions, and still Krishna is going to enlighten further. But now here we are, chapter 10. And he's going to fulfill Arjuna's desire to hear about how he can remember Krishna. But first we're going to do the Mangala-charana, Srila Prabhupada's Mangala-charana prayers to invoke auspiciousness before we hear the Bhagavad-gita as it is. Om Ajnana-timidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. Oh, very good. Thank you. Yeah,
Do that intro again.
You're not centered. Can I just Maharaj?
yes, please. You're hired. Somebody else just got a new job. If you didn't hear the rest of that, it's okay. We did. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all of you out there in cyber land. We're going to read the Bhagavad-gita 10th chapter, but first we're going to hear the Mangala-charana prayers to the Bhagavad-gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. And thank you to Shobha for plugging in the microphone. Oh, Guru Priya caught it. Om Ajnana-timidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who was established within this material world, the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavang Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Pudijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Cha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother, Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Datta and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Shivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates, Sri Lalita and Vishaka. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. O my dear Krishna, ocean of mercy, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the cowherd men and the lover of the gopis, especially Srimati Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Swate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desired trees, and they're full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa, and all others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. Bhagavad-gita as it is, chapter 10, text 15. Swayamevatmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhuteshu deva deva jagatpate. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Is Arjuna speaking to Krishna. Purport. The Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his followers. Persons of demonic or atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad-gita. Bhagavad-gita is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedanti tat tat vavidas tatvam yaj jnanamadvayam brahmiti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabhyate. The Supreme Truth is realized in three aspects: as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at the last stage of understanding the Absolute Truth, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Your chair is here, sir. Dr. Pokala, Haribala, Prabhu. Here, this is your chair. We brought it in specially from... Oh, he's taking his own chair. Sit here. Okay? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. The Supreme Truth is realized in three aspects: as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at the last stage of understanding the absolute truth, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A common man, or even a liberated man, who has realized impersonal Brahman, or localized Paramatma, may not understand God's personality. Such men, therefore, may endeavor to understand the Supreme Person from the verses of Bhagavad-gita, which are being spoken by this person, Krishna. Sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as Bhagavan, or they accept his authority. Yet many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottam, the Supreme Person. Therefore Arjuna addresses him as Purushottam. Yet one still may not understand that Krishna is the Father of all living entities. Therefore Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhavana. And if one comes to know him as the Father of all living entities, still one may not know him as the Supreme Controller. Therefore he is addressed here as Bhutesha, the Supreme Controller of everyone. And even if one knows Krishna as the Supreme Controller of all living entities, still one may not know him, one may not know that he is the origin of all the demigods. Therefore he is addressed herein as Deva Deva, the worshipful God of all demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipful God of all demigods, one may not know that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna. And we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. Text 16. Bhaktum arhasya sheshena divya yatma vibhutaya yabir vibhutibir lokan imangs tvam vyapyatishtasi. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Purport. In this verse it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. And through all these agencies, he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him there is no doubt, yet he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general, and the impersonalists in particular, concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know this. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Text 17. Kantam vidyam ahang yogings Twang sada parichintayan keshu keshu chabhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Purport. As it is stated in the previous chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his Yogamaya. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Now Arjuna is convinced that his friend Krishna is the Supreme Godhead, but he wants to know the general process by which the all-pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. Common men, including the demons and atheists, cannot know Krishna because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of the all-pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. He addresses Krishna specifically as Yogin. We have a second doctor. This is an auspicious evening. Doctor, your chair is waiting for you. Your chair is waiting for you with the pillows and everything. Hare Krishna. Haribol. We're in the 10th chapter, verse 17, purport. Common men, including the demons and atheists, cannot know Krishna because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of the all-pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. He addresses Krishna specifically as Yogin because Sri Krishna is the master of the Yogamaya energy, by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to think materially. Arjuna is considering the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world. The words keshu, jabhaveshu refer to material nature. The word bhava means physical things. But materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually. Because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations. Text 18. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuyak kataya triptir hi shinvato nasti me mritam. O Janardan, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Purport. A similar statement was made to Sutta Goswami by the rishis of Naimisharanya, headed by Shonaka. That statement is, Bhayang tu na vitriptyama utama shloka vikrame yach chinvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. One can never be satiated, even though one continuously hears the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, who is glorified by excellent prayers. Those who have entered into a transcendental relationship with Krishna relish at every step the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord. Thus Arjuna is interested in hearing about Krishna, and specifically how he remains as the all-pervading Supreme Lord. Now, as far as Amritam, nectar, is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Krishna is just like nectar. And this nectar can be perceived by practical experience. Modern stories, fiction, and histories are different from the transcendental pastimes of the Lord in that one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. It is for this reason only that the history of the whole universe is replete with references to the pastimes of the incarnations of Godhead. The Puranas are histories of bygone ages that relate the pastimes of various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, the reading matter remains forever fresh despite repeated readings. Text 19. Sri Bhagavan-uvacha hantate katayushyami divya atma vibhutayaha pradhanyatak kurushreshta nastyanto vistarasya me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. Purport. It is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are limited and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or at any state of life, in any state of life. Rather, the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to the devotees as nectar. Thus the devotees enjoy them. In discussing Krishna's opulences and his diverse energies, the pure devotees take transcendental pleasure. Therefore, they want to hear and discuss them. Krishna knows that living entities do not understand the extent of his opulences. He therefore agrees to state only the principal manifestations of his different energies. The word pradhanyata, principle, is very important because we can understand only a few of the principal details of the Supreme Lord, for his features are unlimited. It is not possible to understand them all. And vibhuti, as used in this verse, refers to the opulences by which he controls the whole manifestation. In the Amarakosha dictionary, it is said that vibhuti indicates an exceptional opulence. The impersonalist or pantheist cannot understand the exceptional opulences of the Supreme Lord, nor the manifestations of his divine energies. Both in the material world and in the spiritual world, his energies are distributed in every variety of manifestation. Now Krishna is describing what can be directly perceived by the common man. Thus, part of his variegated energy is described in this way. Text 20. Aham Atma Kudakesha Sarvabhuta Shayastita Aham Adishcha Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Anta Eva Cha. I am the Supersoul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all the living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Purport. In this verse, Arjuna is addressed as Godakesha, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. For those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various ways in the material and spiritual worlds. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjuna is significant, because Arjuna is above such darkness. The personality of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Krishna first informs Arjuna that he is the soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. Before the material creation, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion, accepts the Purusha incarnations, and from him everything begins. Therefore he is Atma, the soul of the Mahatattva, the universal elements. The total material energy is not the cause of the creation. Actually, Mahavishnu enters into the Mahatattva, the total material energy. He is the soul. When Mahavishnu enters into the manifested universes, he again manifests himself as the Supersoul in each and every entity. We have experience that the personal body of the living entity exists due to the presence of the spiritual spark. Without the existence of the spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supreme Soul, Krishna, enters. As stated in the Subala Upanishad, Prakrityadi Sarvabhutantaryami Sarvasheshi Chanarayana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is existing as the Supersoul, in all manifested universes. The three Purusha avatars are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are also described in the Narada Pancharatra, one of the Sattvata Tantras. Vishnos tu trini rupani purushakyanyato viduhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features as Karnadakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and Chirodakashaya Vishnu. In this material manifestation, the Mahavishnu or Karnodakashaya Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita, Yakaranar Navajale Bhajati Smayogat Nidram. The Supreme Lord Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean as Mahavishnu. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of the universal manifestations, and the end of all energy. Text 21. Adityanam ahar Vishnu Adityanam aham Vishnur Jyotisham Ravirang Shuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam ahang Shashi. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Purport. There are 12 Adityas, of which Krishna is the principal. Among all the luminaries shining in the sky, the sun is the chief. And in the Brahma Samhita, the sun is accepted as the glowing eye of the Supreme Lord. There are 50 varieties of wind blowing in space, and of these winds, the controlling deity Marichi represents Krishna. Among the stars, the moon is the most prominent at night, and thus the moon represents Krishna. It appears from this verse that the moon is one of the stars. Therefore, the stars that twinkle in the sky also reflect the light of the sun. The theory that there are many suns within the universe is not accepted by Vedic literature. The sun is one, and as by the reflection of the sun the moon illuminates, so also do the stars. Since Bhagavad-gita indicates herein that the moon is one of the stars, the twinkling stars are not suns but are similar to the moon. Text 22. Vidanam samavedosmi Devanam asmi vasavaha Indriyanam manaschasmi Bhutanam asmi chetana. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. Purport. The difference between matter and spirit is that matter has no consciousness like the living entity. Therefore, this consciousness is supreme and eternal. Consciousness cannot be produced by a combination of matter. Text 23. Rudranam Shankarashasmi Vitisho Yakcharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shikarinam Maham. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. Purport. There are 11 Rudras, of whom Shankara, Lord Shiva, is predominant. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in charge of the mode of ignorance in the universe. The leader of the Yakshas and Rakshasas is Kuvera, the master treasurer of the demigods, and he is a representation of the Supreme Lord. Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources. Text 24. Purudasham chamukyam mam vidiparta briaspatim senananim ahangskanda sarasam asmisagaraha. O Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Purport. Indra is the chief demigod of the heavenly planets and is known as the king of the heavens. The planet on which he reigns is called Indraloka. Brihaspati is Indra's priest, and since Indra is the chief of all kings, Brihaspati is the chief of all priests. And as Indra is the chief of all kings, similarly Skanda, or Kartikeya, the son of Parvati and Lord Shiva, is the chief of all military commanders. And of all bodies of water, the ocean is the greatest. These representations of Krishna only give hints of his greatness. Text 25. Maharshinam briguraham giram asmi ekam aksharam yajnanam jabajagyosmi stavaranam himalayaha. Of the great sages I am Brigu. Of vibrations I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things I am the Himalayas. Purport. Brahma, the first living creature within the universe, created several sons for the propagation of various kinds of species. Among these sons, Brigu is the most powerful sage. Of all the transcendental vibrations, the Om, Omkara, represents Krishna. Of all sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the purest representation of Krishna. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended, but in the sacrifice of Hare Krishna, there is no question of violence. It is the simplest and the purest. Whatever is sublime in the worlds is a representation of Krishna. Therefore the Himalayas, the greatest mountains in the world, also represent him. The mountain named Meru was mentioned in a previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable, whereas the Himalayas are never movable. Thus the Himalayas are greater than Meru. Text 26. Ashvatak sarvavrikshanam devarshinam chinarada gandharvanam chittaratak siddhanam kapilo munihi. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chittarata, and among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Purport. The banyan tree, Ashwatha, is one of the highest and most beautiful trees, and people in India often worship it as one of their daily morning rituals. Amongst the demigods, they also worship Narada, who is considered the greatest devotee in the universe. Thus he is the representation of Krishna as a devotee. The Gandharva planet is filled with entities who sing beautifully, and among them the best singer is Chittarata. Amongst the perfect living entities, Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is a representative of Krishna. He is considered an incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Later on, another Kapila became famous, but his philosophy was atheistic. There's a gulf of difference between them. Text 27. Uchchai Shavasam Ashvanam Vidimam Amritodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Chanaradipam. Of horses, know me to be Uchchai Shava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch. Purport. The devotee demigods and demons, asuras, once took part in churning the sea. From this churning, nectar and poison were produced, and Lord Shiva drank the poison. From the nectar were produced many entities, of which there was a horse named Uchashrava. Another animal produced from the nectar was an elephant named Airavata. Because these two animals were produced from nectar, they have special significance, and they are representatives of Krishna. Amongst the human beings, the king is a representative of Krishna, because Krishna is the maintainer of the universe, and the kings, who are appointed on account of their godly qualifications, are maintainers of their kingdoms. Memo to Trump. Kings like Maharaj Yudhishthira, Maharaj Parikshit, and Lord Rama were all highly righteous kings who always thought of the citizens' welfare. In Vedic literature, the king is considered to be a representative of God. In this age, however, with the corruption of the principles of religion, monarchy decayed and is now finally abolished. Memo to Trump. It is to be understood that in the past, however, people were more happy under righteous kings. 3 memos to Trump. Text 28. Ayudhanam aham bajram denunam asmit kamuduk prajanas chasmi kandarpa sarpanam asmi vasukihi. Of weapons I am the thunderbolt. Among cows I am the surabhi. Of causes for procreation I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents I am Vasuki. Purport. The thunderbolt, indeed a mighty weapon, represents Krishna's power. In Krishna Loka, in the spiritual sky, there are cows which can be milked at any time, and they give as much milk as one likes. Of course, such cows do not exist in this material world, but there is mention of them in Krishna Loka. The Lord keeps many such cows, which are called surabhi. It is stated that the Lord is engaged in herding the surabhi cows. Kandarpa is the sex desire for presenting good sons. Therefore, Kandarpa is the representative of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification, but such sex does not represent Krishna. But sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna. Text 29. Anantas chasminaganam varuno yadasam maham pitrinam aryama chasmi yamak samyamatam maham. Of the many hooded nagas I am Ananta, and among the aquatics I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law I am Yama, the Lord of Death. Purport. Among the many herded naga serpents, Ananta is the greatest, as is the demigod Varuna among the aquatics. They both represent Krishna. There is also a planet of Pitas, ancestors, presided over by Aryama, who represents Krishna. There are many living entities who give punishment to the miscreants, and among them Yama is the chief. Yama is situated in a planet near this earthly planet. After death, those who are very sinful are taken there, and Yama arranges different kinds of punishments for them. Text 30. Praladas chasmi daityanam kalak kaliyatam maham mriganam chamagrendro yam vainateyas chapakshinam. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Pralad. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda. Purport. Diti and Aditi are two sisters. The sons of Aditi are called Adityas, and the sons of Diti are called Daityas. All the Adityas are devotees of the Lord, and all the Daityas are atheistic. Although Prahlad was born in the family of the Daityas, he was a great devotee from his childhood. Because of his devotional service and godly nature, he is considered to be a representative of Krishna. There are many subduing principles, but time wears down all things in the material universe, and so represents Krishna. Of the many animals The lion is the most powerful and ferocious, and of the million varieties of birds, Garuda, the bearer of Lord Vishnu, is the greatest. Text 31. Panavak Bhavatam Asmi Ramak Shastra Britam Maham Jasanam Makaras Chasmi Shutasam Asmi Janavi. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Purport. Of all the aquatics, the shark is one of the biggest and certainly the most dangerous to man. Thus the shark represents Krishna. 32. Sarganam adirantascha madhyam chaiva hamarjuna adyatma vidya vidyanam vadak pravadatam maham. Of all creatures, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Purport. Among the created manifestations, the first is the creation of the total material elements. As explained before, the cosmic manifestation is created and conducted by Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Shirodakashayi Vishnu, and then again it is annihilated by Lord Shiva. Brahma is a secondary creator. All these agents of creation, maintenance, and annihilation are incarnations of the material qualities of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, He is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all creation. For advanced education, there are 6 kinds of books of knowledge, such as the 4 Vedas, their 6 supplements, the Vedanta Sutra, books of logic, books of religiosity, and the Puranas. So altogether there are 14 divisions of books of education. Of these, the book which presents Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, in particular the Vedanta Sutra, represents Krishna. Among logicians, there are different kinds of argument. Supporting one's argument with evidence that also supports the opposing side is called jalpa. Merely trying to defeat one's opponent is called vidanda, but the actual conclusion is called vada. This conclusive truth is a representation of Krishna. Text 33. Aksharanam akadosmi dvandvak samakshikasya cha aham evakshaya kalo dhataham vishvato mukaha. Of letters I am the letter A, and of compound words I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators I am Brahma. Purport. Akara, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without akara, nothing can be sounded. Therefore it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit there are also many compound words, of which the dual word, like Rama-Krishna, is called Dvandva. In this compound, the words Rama and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called dual. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate, because time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna, because in due course of time there will be a great fire, and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities are the creators, Brahma, who has 4 heads. Among all the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has 4 heads, is the chief. Therefore, he is a representative of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Text 34. Mrityu sarvaharas chaham ubabash cha bhavishyatam kirtik shrir bhak chanarinam smritir medha dritik chamaha. I am all-devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Purport. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo 6 basic changes. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and finally they vanish. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. The 7 opulences listed: fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language and is therefore very glorious. If after studying one can remember a subject matter, he is gifted with a good memory or smriti, and the ability not only to read many books on different subject matters, but to understand them and apply them when necessary, is intelligence, medha. Another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, driti. And when one is fully qualified, yet is humble and gentle, and when one is fully qualified, yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance, both in sorrow and in the ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, chama. Text 35. Brihat sama tata samnam Gayatri chandasamaham masanam margashirshoham ritunam kusumakaraha. Of the hymns in the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margashirsha, November, December, and of seasons, I am flower-bearing spring. Purport. It has already been explained by the Lord that amongst all the Vedas, He is the Samaveda. The Samaveda is rich with beautiful songs played by the various demigods. One of these songs is the Brihat Sama, which has an exquisite melody and is sung at midnight. In Sanskrit, there are definite rules that regulate poetry. Rhyme and meter are not written whimsically, as in much modern poetry. Amongst the regulated poetry, the Gayatri Mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified brahmanas, is the most prominent. The Gayatri Mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the Gayatri Mantra is especially meant for God realization, it represents the Supreme Lord. This mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people, and when one attains success in chanting it, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must first acquire the qualities of the perfectly situated person, the qualities of goodness, according to the laws of material nature, in order to chant the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is very important in Vedic civilization and is considered to be the sound incarnation of Brahman. Brahma is its initiator, and it is passed down from him in disciplic succession. The month of November, December is considered the best of all months because in India, grains are collected from the field at this time, and the people become very happy. Of course, spring is a season universally liked because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and the flowers and trees blossom and flourish. In spring, there are also many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastimes. Therefore, this is considered to be the most joyful of all seasons. And it is the representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Text 36. Jutam chaliyatam asmi tejas tejasvinam maham jayosmi vyavasayosmi satvam satpadatam maham. I am the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Purport. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Krishna. As the Supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. The unfortunate commentator who wants to cheat Krishna and the public by saying that there is something greater than Krishna is cheated by Krishna. And the commentator cannot understand Krishna after any length of time. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one-sided, it is all-sided. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising and the most industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous, and among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan Hill. No one can surpass him in cheating, no one can surpass him in splendor, and no one can surpass him in victory. No one can surpass him in enterprise, and no one can surpass him in strength. Text 37. Vishrinam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjayaha Muninam Apyaham Vyasa Kavinam Ushana Kavihi. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Purport. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladeva is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Lord Krishna and Baladeva appeared as the sons of Vasudeva, so both of them may be called Vasudeva. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavana, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, so Vasudeva is not different from Krishna. It is to be understood that the Vasudeva referred to in this verse of Bhagavad-gita is Baladeva or Balarama, because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called svangsha, personal expansions, and there are also expansions called vibhinangsha, separated expansions. Amongst the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous as Dhananjaya. He is the best of men and therefore represents Krishna. Among the munis, or learned men conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyasa is the greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in this age of Kali. And Vyasa is also known as an incarnation of Krishna. Therefore, Vyasa also represents Krishna. Kavis are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among the Kavis, Ushana, Shukracharya, was the spiritual master of the demons. He was an extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. Thus, Shukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna. Text 38. Dando damayatam asmi Nitir asmi jigishatam maunam chaivang siguyanam jnanam jnanabatam maham. Among all means of surpassing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am wisdom. Purport. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those who cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisement represents Krishna. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important, because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. Such knowledge is Krishna himself. Text 39. Yach chapi sarvabhutanam bijam tad ahamarjuna na tadasti vinasasyan maya bhutam characharam. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. Purport. Everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's energy, nothing can exist. Therefore he is called omnipotent. Without his potency, neither the movable nor the movable can exist. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. Text 40. Nanto sti mamadivyanam vibhutinam parantapa esha tu deshatak prokto vibhuter vistaro maya. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Purport. As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described. To Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. Text 41. Yad yad vibhutimat satvam srimad urjitam eva va tat tadeva bhagachatvam mamate tejong shasambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Purport. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence. Whether it be in the spiritual or material world, everything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. Text 42. Atava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekangshena stato jigat. Purport. The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as the Supersoul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. There is a mission that regularly propounds the worship of any demigod will lead one to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the supreme goal. But worship of demigods is thoroughly discouraged herein, because even the greatest demigods, like Brahma and Shiva, represent only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is asamordba, which means that no one is superior to him, and that no one is equal to him. In the Padma Purana it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with demigods, be they even Brahma or Shiva, becomes at once an atheist. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Sri Krishna, and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. The Lord is all-pervading by the expansion of his partial representation, the Supersoul, who enters into everything that is. Pure devotees, therefore, concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 through 11. That is the way of pure devotional service. How one can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana, a great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, Yach Chakti Leshat Suryadya Bhavantyat Jugrate Jasaha Yad Angshina Dritam Vishwam Sakrishno Dashame Trina Chute. From Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets his power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is worshipable. And that's why we worship Krishna. That's the end of the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 10th canto, 10th chapter, of the Srimad Bhagavad-gita in the matter of the opulence of the Absolute. So there was a lot of material in there, and as it said at the end, and Krishna said at the end, it's just a little spark of his opulence. And all the Vedic literatures, all the Puranas, and the Vedas, and the Upanishads, and Samhitas, and so many Vedic literatures, they describe details of all these things, all the different personalities, all the different opulences. They're given in more detail, but the essence of it is given right here in the Gita, in sutra form. The whole explanation of everything is given in the Bhagavad-gita in a sutric form, feature. So now we're going to have some reflections by the assembled sages. Any points that stuck out in your mind in the reading, or things that you want to comment about, or that you want to embellish upon, or you want to question? Yes, Shobha. First, Shobha has a question on the text 39. In the purport, Prabhupada says,
whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna.
Whatever existence is not founded in the energy of Krishna is not
Maya.
called Maya.
That which is not.
That which is not.
Maya itself is the external energy of Krishna, right?
Yes, but it's not at the same time. In other words, Maya, anything that is not seen to be, or consciously, is not consciously connected with Krishna, is Maya. And it appears to be real, but it's illusory. Maya, not that. So when you see something and it's separated from Krishna and you don't remember Krishna, you forget Krishna. It causes you to forget Krishna. That is called Maya, not that. But we're accepting it as fact, but it's not fact. It's Maya. It's not that. So this is what Maya means: forgetfulness of Krishna. But the same person sees the same thing and remembers Krishna, that thing is not Maya.
For that person.
No, that thing also. Because there's no difference between the knower and the knowledge, the observer and the observed, in the spiritual sense, in the spiritual world. Because Krishna is the observer of everything. Without Krishna's observing, you cannot observe. Before Krishna, if Krishna isn't observing it, you can't observe it. Without the sun, without the eye, without the reflection of light, you can't observe anything. Or through even the senses, you can't observe any of that energy without Krishna, because his energy is transformed into all of those energies. And when the energy is made to be inert by Krishna, then it is called Maya, because it causes us to forget Krishna. Everything is Krishna, but Maya means not that. When it makes you forget Krishna, then it's Maya. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha. I'm not bound to reveal myself to everyone, Krishna says. I am covered by my yogamaya. In this case, it means Mahamaya. Mahamaya is an expansion of yogamaya. Sometimes it's used in the same sentence, but sometimes Mahamaya is also called yogamaya, in other words. It's a little deep.
So it's based on the individual's perception, then, right? So you said the same object can be, if another person views it in relation to Krishna, then it's not Maya.
That's right.
So it's based on the individual, then, whether it's anything, an object or something.
Yes, and therefore eventually everything is Krishna. In the end result, everything is Krishna in the highest sense. But at the same time, Krishna is aloof from everything, as the source of everything. Maya tatindigan sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. That's in the 9th chapter. He says, I am pervading everything by my energy, by my unmanifested energy. I am pervading everything. But at the same time, Nachamatstani bhutani, pashyame yogamaishwara. This is my mystic potency. I'm expanded everywhere. Everything's an expansion of my energy, and yet I'm aloof as the source of it all. Like the sun is in one place in the sky, and at the same time the sun is everywhere by the diffusion of its sunlight. So all the energies are diffused from Krishna in the spiritual world, and part of that energy is the external energy. Part of that external energy is transformed into this cosmic manifestation. And from a distance, if you were able to look at it from a distance, which you can if you want, if you go there, then you'll see the whole cosmic manifestation, which consists of many, many universes. The number of universes, as Krishna has hair holes, skin holes in his skin, there are that many universes. And that whole thing it looks like a cloud. Or another way of looking at it is it looks like a cluster of foam bubbles, because each universe is shaped like a sphere, and all together it's all clustered like a foam bubble. And then when the foam bubbles burst at the time of annihilation, it all becomes again just one Mahatattva, the total energy, Pradhan, the total energy. And then it gets wound back up into the body of Mahavishnu, along with everything else, along with the souls, along with time, along with everything. That's the proof of the pudding. Therefore it says in those 4 seed verses of the Bhagavatam, that Krishna stays present in existing before, during, and after. Therefore he is past, present, and future. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjana vivishani chibutani mam tu veda nakaschana. He says, I know everything, past, present, future, but me, no one knows. That's Maya. When we don't know Krishna, we're in Maya. If we're using something for a purpose other than satisfying Krishna's senses, then we're in Maya. Then we're always in either. So the percentage of time we spend in Krishna consciousness and this percentage of time we're in Maya, that's the point. So the science of Krishna consciousness is to how to reduce the percentage of time we spend in Maya and increase the percentage of time we spend in Krishna consciousness. And that's all Krishna wants. He wants us to think of Him all the time. Whatever we're doing, you don't have to be doing one thing to think of Krishna. You can be doing anything and thinking of Krishna, and all these energies, we just heard it. All these energies, there's no energy that's not, created by Krishna, that is not actually Krishna's energy. So therefore, if you start to see Krishna in relationship to these things, and in the 7th chapter he starts this process of analyzing how one can think of Him while we're still in the material energy. Rasuham mapsakonteya. I'm the taste of water. Who doesn't taste water? And if you're really thirsty, somebody can give you anything, Kool-Aid, beer, anything, and it won't quench your thirst. Only a cool glass of water without any stuff in it will quench your thirst. That's Krishna. Prabhasmi sasishuryayo. He's the light of the sun and the moon. Can't even see without the light of the sun and the moon. You get hot in the sun, you go out into the moonlight and you become cool, refreshed. That's all due to the mercy of Krishna. Everything that we do, everything that we have, everything that we think, everything is due to the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, when we start connecting with Krishna by thinking about Krishna, then we become happy, because that's our position. That's our natural position. When we're in our unnatural position, then we're not happy. When we're in the material world, there will always be things, causes of distress. That's why it's described in another part, one verse we read. When a person is actually dhira, when determined, then if there's happiness or if they're distressed, it doesn't disturb him. And what does it mean, not disturb him? He stays in devotional service. That's the first step towards spontaneous love. Nishta, be fixed. Faith, when one's faith is fixed, it doesn't move, when things go our way, or things don't go our way, or whatever, we get something that's very nice, or we get something that's very, not so nice. We stay fixed. And that way we can be happy, and when we're happy, then we can give happiness to others. If you're not happy, you can't give happiness to others. So first business is to become happy. And that's what Krishna wants. He wants us to be happy. He has feelings also. He misses us. Even though He's there with us in our hearts, He misses us because we're not paying attention to Him. So we can't expect Krishna to pay attention to us if we want to ignore Him. Therefore He says, Apoanam cha. We haven't come to that verse yet, 15th chapter. Sarvasya chaham ridisana Vishnu. I'm in the heart of everyone, and smritir jnanam apoanam cha. Smritir jnanam apoanam cha. He's remembrance, He's memory, and He's forgetfulness. We can't even forget Him without His mercy. But when we want to, He gives us that facility. Therefore he's everything. Therefore we owe it to Krishna to worship. He's the only worshipable object. And therefore bhakti, devotion or love, only applies to Krishna. It doesn't apply to anyone or anything else. But when you get that prema, when you get that bhakti or that bhava or that ecstatic love, that affection, intense affection, then because that opens your eyes and you see everything in relationship to Krishna, everything and everyone becomes more, you feel more affection for them. And so you treat them naturally, properly. And when you treat everyone naturally, properly, they become attracted to you. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriya, sarva bhutatma bhutatma, kurvan api nalipyate. If you just serve purely, be pure in your everything that you do, yoga yukta vishuddhatma, vijitatma, and control your senses, and don't misuse your senses, and don't abuse anyone else, and you yoga yukta, when you do your service to Krishna purely, without personal motivation, then sarva bhutapa bhutatma. Everyone becomes dear to you, and you become dear to everyone. Kurvanapi libite. Therefore, although you do so many things, you don't become entangled in the reactions. That's the science of spiritual life. Is that okay? Hare Krishna. Haribo.
There's a question from Hannah online.
There's a question from Hannah. Hannah, where the heck are you? You know, we're missing you. Everyone's here.
And she asks, there's that many universes, but only one sun?
No, there's as many suns as there are universes. There's only one sun in each universe. Rati Manjari.
I heard Prabhupada say that by silence one can make progress very quickly.
Silence means that you don't make any vibration that's not connected with Krishna. And that way you make very quick progress.
So it doesn't have to mean that we do not speak.
It can, if you speak nonsense all the time. Sometimes your guru will say, okay, you just stop talking. If you're just always babbling, that's why sometimes when a child comes in, okay, quiet, just be quiet. Like Robert's son comes in, Morgan, he's such a beautiful child, but he's always, trying to pinch you. Dad, what did during the thing, and you just want to say, okay, just be quiet. And I don't have to say anything to him, because I'm getting to know him because he's here a lot, and I get to know him. And I just look at him, I go like this, and then he goes, and then he goes. Hare Krishna. Hari Balaba. I got the two persons that saved my life in the same room right next to me here last year.
Sustainable is the spiritual teacher, like the spiritual guru. Doctor for the soul.
Yes, doctor.
This 10th chapter of Bhagavad-gita is a very special chapter.
Hari Balab says that this 10th chapter is a very special chapter.
Not only because it has the 4 scenes.
I'm repeating it so they can hear it over online. Yes.
Not only does the 4 seed verses.
Yeah, not only does it have the 4 seed verses,
but also completely solves the.
But also completely solves
all the questions
that mundane may have.
Because Arjuna,
who
is very compassionate devotee of the Lord,
very compassionate devotee of the Lord,
the questions that are usually in the minds of fallen souls.
Ask the questions in the minds of those who are fallen souls.
And in the later part of the chapter, Krishna
And in the later part of the chapter, Krishna clarifies that he is everything.
He is in everything, and he is everything. Everything is coming from him.
Yes.
And
correct.
Ultimately, one has to surrender to him.
Yes.
So sometimes when my friends ask me, Bhagavad is too hard, then I tell them, just study this one chapter, chapter 10.
Yeah, Bhagavad-gita is very hard. What that means is that they're envious.
I tell them
it's hard. It's hard for an envious person. They may even be less capable of understanding when they read that chapter if they're envious. If a person's envious, then when they get right down to the essence, then they run away and they get angry. No. Why? Because they don't want to have someone they're responsible to. We came here to be free from that kind of responsibility, that kind of authority, so that we can do whatever we want without guilt. But Krishna teaches us how to act properly and not be guilty because we're properly situated, so we don't have to feel guilty. If you stop doing nonsense, then you don't have to feel guilty anymore. If you acknowledge Krishna in everything, then you don't have to feel envious. Therefore, in the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, it says, Dharma prochito kaitavo tra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. These are the two qualifications that are required to understand and to hear, rather. Because you can't understand without hearing. So, nirmatsaranam satam, to be free from envy and to be honest. These two things. And people are thinking, they're taught in school, honesty means you do what you say you're going to do, you're on time, pay your taxes, you don't do any harm to anybody. That's what honesty is. But real honesty is when you can hear something, when the truth goes into your ear, you can accept it. That's honesty. That's an honest person. And the material world is created in order to make honest people out of us. We came here dishonest. We want to be the controller, we want to be the owner, we want to be the enjoyer, right? And we make so many arrangements, and pollute the whole world while we're at it. And think that to live a simple, plain life is what's the word, primitive. Therefore they don't want to understand God. They don't want to understand there's a supreme being that's the source of everything, that's providing everything for them. Otherwise, what will they think? What will they leave them? Well, what about me? That's because they want to be God. Yes, Thomas.
They're not suffering enough.
So they're not suffering enough. The problem is this, that when they get enough of an ignorance, they also think that they're not suffering, even though they are suffering. Therefore it is said, 'tis folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. Therefore, sometimes when you come to truth and you live in it, you become less popular. Because people are always worried about, appearing like they're something special. And when you actually become special, they become, what's the word? Turned off, thanks. Turns them off. Or they have a saying, know-it-all, You're just a know-it-all. As if it's very bad to know things. Yes, Thomas.
Brings a person.
So what brings a person
to Krishna?
Consciousness. Well, it's a process.
Based on what they're talking about here, the people that are in ignorance and will not acknowledge God.
It's a process. It's a process. We don't know God or realize God just, on a whim or on a emotional, sentimental flash. I mean, it can happen that way, but that's generally not the process. The process is, first of all, we have to be here for a very long time and try to get it together in all these different species of life so that we think we can enjoy in one way or another, and after enough of it, then the idea dawns on us, wait a second, there must be more to it than this. And then they start to inquire. Only when they get to the human form, though. When they're in the animal species, they have to be satisfied with having really nice eyesight. You know, like the vulture will fly 2 miles in the sky with little tiny eyes like this, and will see right on the ground something that's dead, and then goes down and has a feast. Or the fish can feel when there's some danger way far away because of the movement of the water and his, fins and his skin. He can understand, and he goes behind something, waits there until it goes by, and then it goes on into its way. In that way, living beings are struggling everywhere, in the air, in the ground, in the bottom of the ocean. How many millions of pounds of pressure is in the bottom of the ocean? A human being can only go a few feet down. They have to have some kind of special suit to go down any below than that. But they'll go down there. Now they have things that can go to the bottom in little submarines or something. And what do they see? These little creatures like this, with eyes like this. And the eyes are lit, and they can see. They have their own flashlights. They can look around. And that happened by chance? Give me a break. Yes, Sarva.
I know that Prabhupada's purports are no less important.
I know that Prabhupada's purports are no less important than his translations. Because the purports are more important.
He doesn't even mention the translations, which I think are also important.
Oh, are you finding fault in Prabhupada? You finding fault in Prabhupada? Are you finding fault in Prabhupada? Just answer the question. Because Prabhupada didn't mention the translations when he says, thus concludes the Bhagavad-gita purports, you think he's talking about the translations and the purports. He's not leaving anything out.
I just think it's wonderful the way that he translates certain words.
It's
also wonderful.
That's part of his purports. It's not easy to translate the Sanskrit into language that we can understand. Very difficult. There's so many translations of the Gita, and in those translations, Krishna isn't made clear. So his purports, his translations make the point that Krishna is clear. They're talking about Krishna, that Krishna is God, and then he explains it in the purport. So both the translations and the purports he's glorifying both. But he did say that his purports are more important because without the purports, we can't understand the translations, the Sanskrit. That's why he emphasizes the purports.
Without the purpose, it wouldn't be clear.
We could not understand. Could not understand the verses without the purports.
Can I ask a side question?
A side question?
Well, like it was, can I?
A tangential question? Yes, go ahead.
It was said about the milk, the cows and milk, and I thought there is a milk ocean, right? According to Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes.
I was wondering, where does that milk come from? Is that like cow's milk?
There's a planet of cows in the material world.
So that is like that milk.
I don't know. It's not clear.
Okay.
It's not clear. I don't want to play around. It's not clear. I've never read anything clearly that says where that milk comes from. You know, there's also an ocean of liquor. There's also an ocean of ghee. There's also an ocean of, salt water. There's an ocean of fresh water. Because these are all energies of Krishna. He can do whatever he wants. That's Krishna. The point of this chapter is he can do whatever he wants. Jeremy, anything?
I was thinking about just the relationship of certain terms.
He was thinking about, Jeremy's speaking now, he was thinking about the relationship of certain terms.
Is Paramatma the same thing as the third Vishnu expansion? Like they're synonymous?
Paramatma means the supreme soul. Atma means soul, and Param means supreme. So Paramatma means supreme soul. But in context with the creation, the Paramatma means the expansion of Krishna, of Vishnu, that enters into the hearts. And therefore, the term also refers to the Atma, the individual soul in the heart, and the Paramatma, the expansion of Krishna in the heart. And so, the Karanakashayi Vishnu, the original Purusha incarnation or expansion, he's the soul of all of the material energy, all at once. And the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is the soul of each universe all at once. And the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, he's the soul of all the living beings, each individual living being. So you can always also say that he's the Paramatma.
And when Prabhupada in his purport used the phrase primary expansions, is that referring to all three of these Vishnus? Those are the primary expansions?
No, those were talking about Swangsa expansions. Primary expansion means Balaram. Krishna expands himself in the original form, in the original place. His original expansion is Balaram. And then Balaram expands himself into Sankarshan in Mathura, and then a second quadruple expansion in Dwarka, and then another quadruple expansion in the Vaikuntha planets. So all these different forms are meant to, are not meant to, they preside over the different spiritual abodes of the Lord. And they provide atmospheres, environments that are compatible with the desires of the individual souls for relationship with God. Some places in the spiritual world have atmospheres that are very, very opulent and very reverential. The relationship with God is very reverential, and and that's, some souls want that by nature, by their original nature. And some souls want more intimacy. And so therefore there's different environments that provide more intimacy and more intimacy. And finally, in Krishna Loka, there's the planet where there's the most intimacy. And there, the soul, the intimate devotees of Krishna there, they forget that he's God. And therefore they can have a friendship relationship, a servant relationship, a parental relationship, or even a conjugal relationship without thinking that he's God, equal. And he likes that.
That forgetfulness that they're God, is that due to his yoga maya?
Yes, but more particularly, there's more opulence there than anywhere else, because it's the source of everything, including opulence. But the sweetness of the relationship with Krishna on that planet is so powerful. The sweetness covers over the opulence and the reverence that one naturally has for something reverential. That's why when they build these big cathedrals and big, monuments to God, when you go inside, you just, even our temple, you go inside and you go, it naturally evokes one's feeling of reverence. And that's the beginning. But in Goloka Vrindavan, there isn't any of that reverence. Cowherd boy will come and jump on Krishna's back. Come on, let's wrestle. You think you're so strong? Watch this. But we can't imitate that and go jump on the back of the deity in the temple and say, come on, Krishna, let's wrestle. You can't do that. If you do that, then you break the rules and then you become, you go to hell rather than Goloka Vrindavan. So it really is a deep science. When you really keep breaking it down, what it takes to be qualified, to be able to be directly with Krishna personally and have an intimate relationship, you have to be really qualified. You have to be ready for that. Just like in the material world, there are different levels and different degrees of places and people that you go with, that you have to know more in order to be with them than other places. It's just natural. In some places it doesn't make any difference. So there's two persons who are completely satisfied, those who are completely in knowledge and those who are completely in ignorance. And everyone else is in between, is in anxiety all the time. And so Vaikuntha is a place where there is no anxiety. And this material world is called Kunta, I mean the place of anxiety. Yes, KK, Krishna Kripa.
Another question from Hannah.
Another question from Hannah.
Compound question.
Compound question.
Yeah. Is Krishna situated in the soul or just in material forms? And when we leave the body...
Wait a second. First things first. Is Krishna situated in the soul or just in the material body? That's what he's saying?
Yeah, that's what she said, but within the material body. But I think
Krishna is situated everywhere. He's omniscient. He's omnipresent. He's omnipotent. So he's situated in the heart of every living being. He's situated in the atom of every universe, and he's situated as the source of all those things in each universe. He's situated outside the universe as a source of all those things before the universe becomes manifested, and he's situated in the spiritual planets in his original forms.
Therefore, the other side of the question, when we leave the body, that gap between one body and the next, do we know Krishna again and then return back to material ignorance?
Sometimes, not all the time, but in the Srimad Bhagavatam it describes that sometimes the soul remembers when it's in the womb and prays to God to let him get out, and promises that this time I'll remember you all the time. I won't forget you. Sometimes, not all the time. Special souls get to think like that. But then normally they get out and they forget again. Why? Because material energy is very powerful. Why? Because it takes powerful energy to cause us to forget Krishna. Krishna is the most powerful person. He's the most sweet, he's the strongest, he's the most richest, wealthiest, famous, knowledgeable, everything, unlimited. So in order to forget such a wonderful person, Maya has to be very strong. So he arranges it. Maya is also the personified form of Maya is also a pure devotee of Krishna. And her duty is to cause us to forget. So only if Krishna tells the material energy through Maya, through personified Maya, to tell Maya to back off from this soul, will we be able to remember Krishna all the time. And that's a process. It happens gradually as we become more and more detached. As we become more and more attached to Krishna, so we become less attached to Maya, or the material energy. We'll still be in the material energy, we'll still be, functioning, but we won't be attached to it. That's the difference. That's the proof of a Krishna conscious person. Krishna may give all sorts of things. Krishna may take away everything. But a person in Krishna consciousness is satisfied and sees Krishna. Whether they're in opulent condition or whether they're in a poor condition, they don't forget Krishna. That takes some doing to come to that. That takes practice. Practice makes perfect, as they say. So the process of hearing and chanting and remembering and praying and serving and worshipping and doing a mission, befriending, giving up everything, these are all the processes of devotional service. And as one does one or two or three or a combination or all of them perfectly, then one becomes fully attached to Krishna, because Krishna reveals himself in proportion to the extent and the degree of one's commitment to that process. And then we'll be able to see, like like the chapter we just read, we'll be able to see Krishna. When we see the shark, we'll see Krishna, because Krishna is the power. All these things represent the most powerful thing of every possible. Well, not every possible. It was just a small spark of it, but this is the way we can always remember Krishna. It's not the most elevated way to always remember Krishna, but it's the way we can remember Krishna in the beginning when we're in this material world. And then when Krishna sees, he's in the heart and he's watching, and when he sees us start to remember him in that way, then he says, oh, he's a little bit more interested, is he? So then he gives him a little bit more, realization. And a little bit more realization, and a little bit more realization. And finally, when you become so desirous of seeing him that you can't live for another moment without seeing him, then he'll show you for an instant. And then he'll go away again. And then the separation you will feel will be so intense that, then the relationship begins. That's a general description of the process. But to get there, you have to be honest, completely honest. You have to uncover the qualities of the soul. That's in the beginning of the 16th chapter. The characteristics of the soul.
She made another point, I think you answered it. She said, so we should love everything because all is Krishna.
We should love Krishna and then we'll love everything. Just like if you water the root of the tree, then the whole tree gets nourished. So if you give your love to Krishna exclusively, it's not that when you give your love exclusively, the love just goes there and doesn't go anywhere else. If you love Krishna exclusively, then because you'll see everything in relationship to Krishna, and you'll see Krishna everywhere, then everything and everyone becomes more dear to you. So you can't love anything or anyone until you love Krishna. Just like you can't, water the tree by watering the leaf. You got to water the root. Okay? Hare Krishna. That's my way over my time. Hare Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai. Sri Krishna ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.